Woman of Reddit, what is your, I am the client not my husband stop ignoring me story? I've been on the flip side of this. For years, I worked at bicycle shops and regularly sold some pretty expensive bikes. One day, a couple came in. The wife was interested in a bike, and it quickly became apparent that the husband was an overpowering, dominating type. She wants to do this, she doesn't want to do that, she likes this, she doesn't like that, etc. When it became clear she wasn't being allowed to do much speaking at all, I would let the husband ask the question, and I'd reply by physically turning and giving the answer to the wife, making eye contact with her only and pointedly ignoring the husband. It was pretty blatant. She loved it. She lit up, engaged with me, and genuinely seemed to enjoy the process of learning more about riding and getting into a new sport/hobby. Yeah, this side is rough, especially in the tattoo industry. The amount of couples that come in and the husband won't let the wife talk about the tattoo she wants on her body. Fortunately, it's an industry where getting told to F off is not uncommon, so saying mate. If you keep talking over the top of your partner, this is going to be a effing crap tattoo, so how about you wait outside while we finish the consult is rarely frowned upon. It never goes down well, but F those dudes. Man, that's sad, but good for you for doing that. Happened to my mom when we went to look at colleges. The admissions guy opened by shaking my dad's hand, constantly directed questions at my dad, and would look to him for confirmation whenever my mom said something. My mom is de facto the money person of our family unit. She manages the family finances and investments and stuff, and was way more qualified to comment on things like student loans or expected contribution. When we left that meeting, she was absolutely furious that she had to basically fight the admissions person to have a normal conversation. I am the money person in our relationship, and this happens to me all the time. Every car we've bought, place we've rented, investment we've made, you name it. My husband is now very confident in telling the people that if they keep trying to talk to him about it, the only decision he will be able to make is telling them to get lost. Edit, my first gold. Thank you. Lol, my mom made my dad return a car when she found out what he paid for it, then got the same car for far less, thousands less. She's the real life Peggy Hill ETA, Season 12 Episode 13 years all. Educate you damn selves before you come from Miss Peggy? You'll pay sticker price and not a penny more. I sold that man 5 vehicles for the sticker price. My mom is single. When she went and did all the paperwork with my sis, she was 17 for a few more months. They asked automatically when her husband would be there. I'm glad I wasn't in that office when that happened. Lol, when my mom was single, before she got married and had kids, she was at a job interview. She had an Eastern European maiden name, but the interviewer thought it was Japanese, which is sort of understandable because of how it's spelled, and asked her if her Japanese husband would be okay with her working full-time if they offered her the job. I guess they assumed she was married to some kind of old-school traditional Japanese man who might not want her out of the house 40 hours a week. She was so surprised by the question she just said, "Yeah, he'll be fine," and laughed as she decided that maybe she didn't want to work for this guy after all. My husband and I had our backyard completely dug up and landscaped when we bought our house. The landscaper was an older guy, probably around my dad's age, and my husband and I are pretty young to be homeowners, so I could kind of understand this dude's condescending attitude. When he came over the first time to do the estimate, he almost exclusively addressed my husband, even though I'd made it clear I was the one who was doing the designing and knew what I wanted done. When the work was done and I paid him, he kept looking behind me for my husband and almost didn't give me the aftercare instructions for the new sod, saying he wanted to make sure it was done right so he'd email them to my husband. I finally snapped, "Give me the damn piece of paper, Bruce. I'm the one who will be home during the day to do the damn thing." I worked nights at the time. He reluctantly handed it over and called my husband the next day to make sure the lawn got watered. My husband told him, "You'd have to ask her, Bruce. She told you she'd do the damn thing," and hung up. I had, indeed, done the damn thing. Should have told him to sod off. Oh hot damn. I really missed an opportunity with that one. At work, I manage a few facility systems in our building, think air handlers, water purification, etc. I was meeting a new vendor, let's call him Pat, that was servicing one of the systems I was overseeing. Pat had already met the facilities engineer, also a man, so this co-worker was introducing me to him. Instead of talking directly to me, Pat turned to my co-worker after shaking my hand and asked him, "And what does she do here?" A few weeks later, he had the unpleasant opportunity to learn that I'm the one who calls him when his company falls through and doesn't deliver. Needless to say, I was not overly polite about it when Pat failed to do his job. Edit, LMFAO, y'all are making me laugh. Thank you for the stories and the get effed wishes for Pat. And what does she do here? Ugh, I hate when people do this. I'm right here, just ask me. So patronizing. Not a client per se, but a relevant story. I, 38 female, caught some hunters trespassing on my property. I wasn't rude to them at all, just waved from the other side of the field. The next day they show up at my house and one gestures towards the police car in the driveway and asks to speak to my husband about hunting in our woods. I was like, you can talk to him if you want, but that's my cruiser and this is my land, not his. They still insisted on getting permission from my husband. You caught us breaking the law and you're a cop, can we speak to your husband about hunting on your ground? Lamau, imagine trying to get permission from someone to hunt on their land, so you treat them like a second-class citizen. And to have the balls to do that to a police officer while trespassing. They still insisted on getting his permission? What did your husband say when he spoke to them? I need to know how this ends, smiley face. We were looking into replacing our roof, and found a metal roof company who was running a promotion, so I gave them a call and scheduled for someone to come out and give us a quote. I was able to answer all of his questions, but he refused to give me a quote without my husband present, with some sign before we leave for best price excuse, and was intent on driving back over the following day, when my husband would be home. I called their main office shortly after he left and said I wasn't interested in any high-pressure sales tactics, I just wanted a quote, and if they wouldn't give that to me, the one who would be paying for it, then to not bother coming back out. Didn't see them again. The 3 other roofing companies I contacted had no problem dealing solely with me. I had this with a new patio door. He walked in, looked me up and down and outright asked if I had permission to make a decision on whether to accept their quote. When I said I had that power but wouldn't be making a decision until I had spoken to a few more companies, he said he had better come back when the man is around to sort this out. I told him he wasn't welcome back in my house and I would take my business elsewhere. Their follow-up customer service call employee got a right earful when they rang a few days later to see if my husband and I had had any more thoughts on the matter. Oh, I had some thoughts. Do you have permission? The F century did that knuckle dragger think it was? Jesus. I've worked in sales, and if I was working with a potential client that was female or male, I always just assumed the person who came is the right person to talk to. If a couple came in, or a parent and child, I would always tailor questions to try and determine who was making the decision, and if it wasn't clear, like it is in my family dynamic, I wouldn't assume, I would just engage equally. It's not that hard. This 100%. I do the same. Whoever engages most is normally who I interact with most. Same thing when I was a server. I'd always place the bill in the middle of the table unless someone specifically asked for it. Don't associate us knuckle draggers with those cretins. We ran into the same issue trying to get replacement windows. Several companies refused to even come give an estimate unless I, the husband, was there, even though it was my wife who was really going to make the decision. This August I bought a new truck and took my boyfriend with. He is white and I am Mexican. We arrived at the dealership and I asked about the Explorer they had front and center. Salesman comes over and is asking a bunch of questions to my BF. He told him it's for me. I was ignored for the entire conversation. I got up and started looking at the truck. A Hispanic salesman comes and asks me if I need help. I was out of there within 1.5 hours, keys in hand. Found my boyfriend with the other salesman. I looked at boyfriend and said I bought the one I wanted. Manny G got me squared away. The look of utter disappointment and anger on the guy's face was worth it. My boyfriend chuckled and said I told you she was the one buying. Manny, you were great. Oh man, the schadenfreude of this one is so good. Manny knew what was up and saw an easy sale, just listen to the customer. Makes you wonder how many sales Manny gets off that guy. Many Manny sales may be made. Oh man, that is brilliant. Guy lost a sale and wasted his time with a guy who wasn't even buying, when he could have helped another customer, smiley face. And not even lost a sale to other place, just to a coworker that was simply better than him. Was invited to a weekend away with a supplier to launch their new range. My husband went with, and on the order day the financial manager of the supplier came up to my husband and asked him what he thinks about the new range and what he is considering to buy. My husband replied very dryly that he is only the plus one and that he must speak to me, seeing that I am the one with the checkbook. I'm that husband, lol. My wife is a RVT, registered veterinary technician, think RN but for animals. We took a work vacation last year for a conference she wanted to go to out of state. It was only a few days, so we decided to just extend it and make a vacation of it. I'm there with her at the zoo getting a behind the scenes look at stuff. Super cool, by the way. I got to pet an elephant and feed a giraffe, and someone is asking me technical questions and I'm like, I'm the plus one, loving the zoo though. That happened to me at a veterinarian conference a few years ago. Another doctor asked me how I was enjoying the lectures and stuff, and I told him my wife was the DVM, I'm just here to drink and play golf. I was buying a new sports car. My husband and I walk into the dealership and the sales guy walks up holding his hand out to shake my husband's hand and asks how he can help. Fine. No biggie. My husband says she's buying, not me. Sales guy glances at me and says to my husband, well, it's not just her decision, right? We left and I bought my new sports car elsewhere. Effing butthole. The dealership that I absolutely adore won my affection when they asked who the car was for. I said me. He not only turned his full attention to me, but offered my husband and toddler snacks and a TV in the lounge. The rest of the deal was done solely with me. I read this as he offered your husband toddler snacks, at first laughing my butt off. I'm the husband, but when we have any kind of work done on our house, everyone constantly tries to make eye contact with me and pal around. My wife does all of that stuff. I don't know anything about any of it. I literally spend the whole time redirecting people to deal with her. Sometimes I just excuse myself and have her fill me in on details, which I don't care about or need to know, later. This could be my house. My husband, bless his financially stable heart, always lived in nice apartments until we bought a house together. I always lived in the hood, in sketchy rental houses and apartments where calling the landlord or maintenance was usually more trouble than it was worth. So I'm the de facto custodian, doing all the minor maintenance and arranging all the big repairs. I enjoy that stuff. But, yeah, as soon as a repair tech enters the house, they look for my husband. And every time, I take them downstairs and quietly say, the guy at the desk over there is my husband. He's doing call center work, setting appointments for the hospital. I'm your point of contact for this project, please only talk to him if you're about to get loud. Sometimes I still get texts from husband like they want to replace the pipes going from the hot water heater to the downstairs bathroom, is that okay? Pouting face, angry, the only exception is Mrs. Handyman, exactly what it says on the tin, the person I use for the small jobs that I can't do anymore. We're cool. When I had my appendix taken out, I asked my doctor when sex would be okay again. He turned to my husband and said, whenever you feel ready, you can begin sexual relations again. I don't know if he was uncomfortable talking to me about it, or was deferring to what my husband would prefer. Either way, it was strange. I've had a gynecologist speak only to my husband. I wanted to scream he doesn't have a vagina, but I was too shocked. I don't go into the office with my significant other. I sit in the waiting room with her. When she gets called in, I ask her if she'd like some company, and she always says no. I always ask because she might want privacy, or she might want me there for better understanding or something, but I'm effectively just the driver for her appointments. If she wants me in the room, fine, I'm in. If she wants privacy, fine, I'm just outside. I've had a Dr. Edit, general practitioner, not gynecologist, ask me a question on her behalf one time, and she was perfectly able to answer at the time, too. I shrugged and said I don't know, ask her, it's her stomach. She's a lot of things to me, but she's not my car, lol. Don't ask me for her symptoms. I read your comment like you were just talking about the gynecologist and not the doctor office in general. That made the I don't know, it's her stomach even funnier. Most of these posts are making me shake my head, This one just made me go EWWW. That's just wrong. Not me but my mom. I'm not married anyway. My parents were looking to get solar panels and invited several people over to give their recommendations and get a quotation. This one salesperson kept only looking at my dad, only responding to his questions and not hers, and the quotation ended up being addressed only to my dad, not the both of them. My mom stood her ground and said that even if his offer was the lowest, they would not be choosing him. My mom is very anti-confrontational, so I was really proud of her. Another time, I was helping my mom book plane tickets online for both my parents. Even though she filled her name in first, the online system suggested that my dad would be the main booker. My mom booked her tickets elsewhere. Wait. A sexist automated system? That's just bad. Oh God, why did this just remind me? My husband and I both work in entertainment, and so as such we get our taxes done at a place which specializes in our industry. I'm the one who handles the finances, so when filling out our tax information sheet I put myself as taxpayer at A. Our accountant asked, "Oh, do you mind if I put husband's name first?" We just always do it that way, it's easier for us. Needless to say, we saw a different accountant next year. What makes it easier? What do they do for gay/lesbian couples? Probably freak out. So which one of you is, like, the woman? I effing hate that question. The woman is the woman in our relationship, but you're both men? Exactly. Why, yes, I do mind. If we wanted his name first, don't you think we'd have done that ourselves? Thank you for watching. If you like our videos, please like them on YouTube. And share them with your friends. Please subscribe to be the first to know about Red Rabbit Reader's new videos. We welcome your comments below. Another of our videos will begin shortly.